Today I'm going to divulge 4 tips for you guys on how to kill it on social media as a graphic designer heading into 2019. What is up people, welcome back to Satori Graphics, the home of graphic design content right here on YouTube. So today I'm going to help you get more traction, more exposure and also more clients using social media. Today I've got 4 tips, but I could have made 10 more tips, but the problem is I haven't got much time today because I'm focusing so much on my subscription based website where courses, vector downloads and much more are going to be available to you guys, and that should be coming at the end of December, maybe start of January, so stay tuned for that guys. So the first tip today is Twitter hashtags, and I've mentioned this before in previous videos, but I'm going to go into more depth right now on how you can use Twitter hashtags to get much more exposure and also clients for your graphic design career. Now, using hashtags on Twitter can really help to grow your presence and also traction on Twitter, and I personally think they can be used in 2 different kind of ways. But firstly, I suggest that you should post on Twitter very often, maybe 10 or 15 times per day. And we're going to see more about that later on different social media platforms. But in terms of hashtags, you can always put hashtags into your posts. And for Twitter, I recommend not going over 2, maybe 3 at a maximum for the hashtags in your posts. This is because it comes across as kind of spammy, and each social media platform has a kind of unwritten law. For instance, Instagram, it's okay to post 30 hashtags on there, and that's kind of accepted. But Twitter's not the same, so don't go over 3 hashtags in your actual posts in Twitter. But when you do use hashtag posts, you want to kind of double down on niche. So maybe it's a minimal logo design, or maybe it's like hand lettering. So you might want to look at hashtags such as hand lettering or minimal or minimalists, you know, something like that. But also use a hashtag that is mainstream and it speaks to a wider audience. So something like graphic design or graphic designer. As you can see on screen now, I'm listing some of the relevant hashtags that I use as a graphic designer when working on Twitter. But let's take a closer look at Twitter hashtags and how to use them. To demonstrate how to search for design jobs using Twitter, let's take a look at the hashtag logo designer. So as you can see, the very first result is someone asking for a logo designer. And in fact, the next 2 people are also looking for a logo designer too. Now this is a nifty way to search Twitter for logo design jobs or graphic design jobs. And once you found a person, either reply to them directly or you can just add them, but also have your portfolio link ready to show them your work. But also this person here has used a hashtag to advertise their services, so people looking for logo designers might search this hashtag and also find their post. Let's take one last quick look at a different hashtag that I like using, and that is graphic designer. And as you can see, I'm there at the very top because I use the hashtag graphic designer in my bio, which does help in me being found as a graphic designer. But as we look down the page, we can see people advertising themselves as designers, and also people looking for graphic designers too. I've listed below in the description box of this video a list of hashtags that I feel are useful for you to use on Twitter as a graphic designer. So the next tip today is visuals. The key to social media, I personally believe, or one of the keys, is visual cues. We're designers, so everything is visual anyway, but when you're actually designing a post, you want to stop that kind of scrolling action that people have when they use social media. You know, people just sit there all day mindlessly scrolling through, and you want to stop that. You want to put a bump in the road and you want to grab their attention, but you should be using relevant imagery to your post or your brand. And speaking of brand, you want to kind of have a running theme throughout your social media accounts, or even just on one social media account. This just goes back to making a memorable presence and using brand theory in your social media accounts and posts. So make sure when you create a post on a social media, it relates to your brand, maybe a color scheme, maybe a specific style of design, maybe it's a typography, but kind of have elements that run through it that are on point with branding. Also use minimal text. You don't want to overcrowd your text on a social media post, and I mean the actual image, the actual design that you make. The text that you do use needs to be relevant and it needs to be catchy, so you need to spruce up your typography skills and make sure it's appealing visually speaking. And also in terms of typography, go back to those golden rules that I always speak about on my channel. If you want to see the video, just type in Satori Graphics golden rules typography and think of things like hierarchy, tracking, leading, kerning, All of these things you want to think about when you're using typography on the design itself. So yeah, you basically just want to treat every single post as a kind of mini art project, and you want to stop that scrolling. The third tip today is linking everything together. This might seem obvious to some, but you might have forgotten to do it yourself, and that is to link every social media account with every social media account. So on your Twitter, advertise your Facebook or your Instagram account, either in your bio or just in posts in general. But you want to link it together because you want people going from here to here to here to here. Not only are you going to grow your audience, but you're going to build a general presence on social media as a whole. And also, I think it helps in terms of algorithm because, you know, social media sites like YouTube, for example, they use algorithms to track traffic and where people are coming from. And I think it just helps to have a healthy link together presence on social media. Now lastly today, I've actually done some research for you guys, and that is how often should you be posting on social media accounts? Now I knew a few of these already, but there's some I didn't know about, and in the fourth and final tip, you're going to learn how many times you should be posting on each platform. So on Facebook, from the research that I conducted, I found that you should only post once or twice a day before things become too spammy. But of course you want to post every single day to keep that organic growth going and that presence growing as your design career grows too. On Twitter, it's actually 10 to 15 times per day. And one thing you have to bear in mind is that each social media platform is a kind of different community and they have unwritten laws that go into that community. So going to Pinterest, it's actually 15 to 20, and then going down to LinkedIn, it's just once or twice per day that you should be posting there before things become too spammy. And then lastly, Instagram is also once or twice per day. You don't want to turn off your audience and you don't want to leave them neglected like I've been doing recently on Instagram. I've been really bad when it comes to social media lately, but I've been focused on other things apart from my design career. So yeah, there were 4 tips on how to kill it on social media going into 2019. If you want to see more tips on social media and graphic design as a business, let me know down in the comment section below. Also, subscribe to my channel for weekly graphic design content on graphic design tutorials, on videos just like this every single Friday on the business side of things in graphic design. But yeah, have a great day everybody, and until next time, design your future today. Peace.